a walk. They got, what I thought was so funny that they took is they took the snacks out of the children's basket.
Oh my goodness.
I'm thinking.
Oh my gosh.
Snacks on the children's.
Well, they
How
took the snacks,
odd.
in addition to everything else they took, the sound system and all that. They took the snacks, I'm thinking.
My goodness.
That's crazy.
But anyway,
Yeah,
so,
those are pretty good snacks.
yeah, must be, I don't know, I'm never back there because you see I'm banned from children.
Did they take any technology?
Oh, yeah, they took the sound system,
Mm.
speakers,
Oh.
all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yesterday on Sunday.
Well, before we got there, yeah.
So it happened.
Should have been Saturday night, yeah.
So how did they get in? Did they break a
No,
window?
I think it's an inside job because
Oh, wow.
he said that there were some speakers that were not good that they didn't take. I don't think he said the tested. They didn't take some things, but then they took other things, and then they took like the drum set, just weird stuff.
So was there evidence of them breaking in or did?
Yeah, their windows broken, but they were broken. They think they did it to make it look like they were coming to the later,
That's.
but they were more blasted outside,
Oh, yeah.
you know, so. Whatever, so it's been an interesting week, but I just wanted us to kind of talk about the subject of covenant. There's some people that have been here that have done this thing before, that are familiar with it. And some people that have never done it. I have to take my hair down walking this one, I realized.
Looks cute.
Okay. And covenant, to me, my husband, it's his most favorite Bible study that's ever done. Did you do covenant? So let's talk about it. The only person is you, right?
I did it.
Yeah.
So many of Mike and Hank's.
That's right. So,
It was a long time ago
a
then.
very long time ago. And I would say that I have a top 5 Bible studies that I love, my favorite Bible studies. And a lot of times that changes because I teach something out of the top. But this consistently is number 1. And I think it is so important that I will boldly say that there is not a person who should not do it. Every person who talks about a Christian should do this once. Because it will change your understanding of the whole Bible. How it all fits together, why certain things happen at this point, they didn't happen at that point. I mean, it really begins to connect things, and for those who've already started working on it, you may have seen some things already. It's like, well, I didn't realize that, you know. So I can do this for you guys because there will be a point. I can't remember what lesson. I'm not finished with it, but I'm pretty far into the study where we have a chart of the temple. And I have this one that I have made. Talking about, I could give you, but then I also have the one that I did. It's more simplified in here. Where I find it. That I worked on that I think might be better for you. So we'll make that decision and pick it up. No, it's in the design. I just did it. Thank you.
Barbara said she's not able to get in. She said that she gets a message that says that the host has another meeting in progress, but and she's trying to get into this meeting.
What issues with
Yeah.
that stuff? Okay.
With Zoom.
Did she get completely outside yet?
I think it's Zoom because I tried to get in on a meeting last night.
It
the same
happened
thing
to us before.
Yeah.
And we had a hard time getting her logged in. They've made some changes on Zoom or something. Yeah.
Well, so I guess what we would do, since I don't normally, I just subject you guys right off the bat to the lesson. I'd like to do that this time. This is the other chart, I think it's lesson 5, that looks like this. So if you guys want that one.
Are you saying we don't have that? We don't have
You
that.
have it. And I'm telling you that if you have trouble with it at that, on that price, then I will do it. Promise. Because sometimes, for some people, that's a challenging thing. So, I'm also gonna send out, a chart that has all the major
Y'all just
covenants.
got a
We don't
regular
cover
notebook to put yours
every
in.
major
That's so
covenant.
smart, because my.
But we do.
Are off at the front end. So I'll put it in one of these.
This is more than that, it's, I don't have it.
I didn't have that one, I don't think.
Back page. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yes,
So-
on the easy ones, it's the very back.
yeah, if you have an easy book, it's a little bit different than ours, but.
Last
This plays
page.
a little different.
And we're gonna study it in lesson 5.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna give it to you now, I'm just letting you know, so if you get to that, if you have a problem, I will give you the option. So, I'm not gonna give you the answer to the advance. So I guess if you guys could just introduce yourself and, starting with you, Deborah, because you're there and on the right hand, you're at my right hand, so you start.
It's just say the name.
Deborah, whatever you wanna say.
Deborah Harper, and this second year of doing precepts. So it's
What is it, tell me what has helped you with precept, what is good about it? What is good about this?
it's detailed and I need detail. I'm Martin High. I've been doing precepts with Cathy since covenant. It was the very first Bible study, with precepts that I did.
Do you remember what year that was? It had to be before 2019.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right for that.
2005,
I can't.
something.
Really?
I can't, it was a wonderful, wonderful group. We met in Mike Cathy Fraser's home. We would do a group meal together and then we would do the Bible study. It was just one of my favorite nights of the week to do that. Covenant made such an impact on me. It was such an eye opener about just exactly how much God loves us. It's just incredible to think the lengths that he's gone to trying to have a relationship with us. So it was very impactful. I love precepts Bible studies. I love I do the harder version. I love getting into the nitty gritty. Sometimes, and this is not the hardest one. There's a harder one I understand out there.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, I've read that somewhere that this one is not the hardest, but anyway.
This is a level 5.
Is it level 5?
Yeah, this is level 5. So
Okay, well,
percent
good.
it
I
is.
thought, man, I'm working hard.
Like, how could it get any harder?
We got a seminary, Anyway, I have, I've been friends with Lance and Kathy so long since our kids were young,
91.
playing soccer together and church together. Yeah, and, so it's a blessing to come.
Art is awesome, the great study of the word, and, that's a really good testimony. Okay, Jamie.
Hey, I feel like we already covered me, but I'm Jane Davis. I'm from Martindale. I've done these Bible studies, but it's been probably 5 years. So I'm excited to get back into it.
Thank you.
My second Bible study with Cathy. I'm Becky Stokes, and I'm very excited to be a small part of all of you all. Met her at the salon, and of course, she's been doing my nails for 5 years, I guess. I didn't realize she was doing an individualized study like this one, or I would have been here sooner. Would have run a lot quicker to be here. So 11 grandkids and counting. We've got a 12th on the way.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's about where we are at this time. So thank you for letting me be here.
Cheryl Gerard, I'm here because of this young lady here. We have our church family together and we have our Sunday school together, and I kind of.
I've adopted her.
Yeah, pretty much she's adopted me. Yep.
She's happy to.
And thank you for including me. So I'm happy.
I'm so glad you're here. I understand you've already started working on it.
I'm through lesson 2.
Wow,
But
that's way ahead of me.
well, I was supposed to be out of town next Monday,
Yeah.
so I wanted to.
Yeah, no, it's.
But now I'm not gonna be out of town, so you're stuck.
Oh, there. You
So
know,
I'll call you if I have questions.
But there you go.
You work at your own pace, that's the thing, you know, you don't have to stick to the 5-day lesson one for this. I mean, I think some people, like Marta, I mean, if you're really experienced, you really love it, really into it, just keep going. That's fine, I don't, you know, it's just that if you talk about something outside of the realm of this lesson, I'll probably say, let's wait.
That's okay.
Let's wait till
Well, and you know, there's gonna be a week where I'm just gonna be like, really don't wanna do it this week.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, exactly,
But she'll make you.
she'll make you.
Much.
You will help. I'm gonna stay in my lane. Psalm 37. All right, I'm Peggy Metter, and I've known Cathy since she moved into this neighborhood, 92. And her daughter and my 2 daughters were thick as thieves. And they did a lot of things together. And her daughter thought my husband would be easier on her than her dad. Anyway, Cathy has always tried to get, I remember that you taught one time in Dripping Springs,
Oh, yeah.
but it was just a long way to go, and I was too busy with so many other things and all. And then she had one that was at my church at Hayes Hills. And of course, it was in the middle of Revelations. And she swears up and down she'll never teach it again. So I don't know if I'll ever get the first half of Revelations. But anyway.
no.
Only the first half. Just do the first half. Don't worry about the second half. I got the second half. I need the first half.
It's amazing that she's done Revelations twice that I have done with her. And the second time through, I kept thinking, did I ever learn that? Did I know that? So you learn so much more
Yeah.
every time you go through
Yeah.
it.
It's true.
Okay.
But I remember how it drained you because we talked about that and you said,
All I
oh, I've
know
got to get
is-
through this.
All I know is that you want a teacher that loves the word. Miss Cathy is it.
Yep.
And she's always been called Miss Cathy. I mean, I never call you Cathy. And- because of my kids.
Children.
Yeah, probably the
Respect.
kids thing.
Reminds me of my family.
The kid
but then-
connection.
Oh, that lady, never allowed children.
You know what? That tells you that we all have our own strengths.
Yep.
And we all have our own situations that, we never know what God's gonna put us in. And God definitely told Cathy, do not mess with children.
Well, we finally found her vulnerable. I didn't know she had one.
I will volunteer for anything, and I will. I mean, I told my pastor.
But God doesn't want you to volunteer
Of
for
course.
anything. And
Yes.
that's what God's trying to teach you, Cathy.
So he told me, he said, well, if you can just fill in today, and then I filled in, and the lady said.
Girl.
But if you know that you don't belong, don't join, or don't even attempt to. But Cheryl does belong with kids, whether she thinks so or not. I got her involved in Awanas now
Oh.
as a secretary. She's not involved,
Oh, okay.
secretary.
Not hands-on.
No, yeah.
But
But,
my kind of gal.
She's in her way in. She's
Childless bunch of.
but then she turns to Sandra, and Sandra's got her in Mom to Mom. There is a group of women, this Mom to Mom.
Also, we have a group at our church called Sister Chicks for women over 50 that just want to get together and have a good time. And we get together usually around the first Saturdays of each month and just do something unique.
Did your TV?
No. Anyway, we played cornhole at this Saturday at the church and
Pretty.
Never played for.
it's sort of like washers.
It's where you throw those bean bags through the.
See, I'm
Through the
from
hole in the box.
If you throw things in the world, it has a totally different.
What? If you what?
Throw things in the world, it's a totally different.
Oh, yeah.
Volleyball.
But Cheryl is, I have to tell you, God brought Cheryl into my life because he knew that I needed her.
Oh,
That's
Yeah, because at first, I have to tell you, I was like, this lady's on my handle.
Another friend of mine also now hot mess, so.
And I call her a unique flavor. But I love her with all my heart because I thank God that he brought her and I'm just real thankful for her. Awesome. And then I have this wonderful lady here, Sandra, who is another amazing woman who will tell all about herself and what wonderful things she does.
yes. It is.
Drum roll.
Hit it, drum roll. Well, my name is Sandra McDonald. I live over here in Meadowwoods. We've lived here a long time, and I don't remember when I first moved. When I met you through getting my nails done, when we had electricity. I don't even remember. Anyway, that's another time and place. And retired teacher, and my husband's a retired teacher coach. He used to be the girls basketball coach at Police Hospital. This is a whole lot. Still, we have 5 grandkids, 4 girls and 1 boy. And anyone that would ever say to me, there's no difference in girls and boys.
Oh.
Wrong. These granddaughters come and see me one at a time, and they bring for 2 nights, they bring 2 suitcases. 3 different outfits. Stuffed animals, line everything up. The boy came, 16 he came, and right before bed, I hear him say, Papa, you have any shirts? I didn't bring anything to wear. But he bought a suitcase. I don't know what was in it, but anyway, he had no shirts to wear, so, and there are a lot of, so.
What I love about Sandra is she is the best storyteller.
Yes.
She is an incredible storyteller, and she told this story, and I didn't get it right, but I mean, it was so good. I have a friend who lives in Williamsburg, Virginia, who has, he does these weekly posts. I think he has, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds. He might have 500 people that see his posts, maybe more. And I told her, I recreated and told that story. And I told Sandra, all over the United States and even into Europe. That story was so good.
So what was the story?
Story about driving, and I'll butcher it, but it was she was driving to work
To church.
To church. and saw this dead animal
Flat armadillo.
flat armadillo. And she kept driving, and then every day you drive past it, but you're up there, and all of a sudden the Lord just spoke to you and said, you can be flattened out on the ground, but you still need to be identified. Which is basically saying, if you're a Christian, no matter how flattened out you are, people are able to tell that you're a Christian.
No matter what problems you have.
That's
Because
very
when an armadillo gets run over, you can always tell it's not armadillo by the
Yeah.
shape.
The shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just there.
Family stories, if you want to hear stories about a family, she knows people in the movement. I mean, to tell you.
She knows everybody in St. Marcus. Yes.
She has
family there.
And they are funny stories.
Oh.
She's telling me stuff I'm doing else, I'm like, you God.
So let me tell you all this. This is on my mind. Got this little boy. There's 4 kids. He's 3. He has to move up in Sunday school. You're 3 years old. Go to the 3-year-old class. But you have to be kind to him. His mama will not. I said, it's time for you to move up. And he goes, I ain't trained. He's 3. So this week I said, come on, Isaiah, and I took him down to the room and said, here you go. You're in the 3-row right there now. You're a big girl. And the teacher there took him to the bathroom every 30 minutes.
Good for her.
What a
That's
doll.
good for her.
What a
Yeah.
doll.
I ain't trying.
What a
I
doll.
just did my heels in like that. Not gonna like her.
We all do.
He's trying to, I just see him when he's like a teenager.
Well, I always tell a story about my son.
You'll have that story
because-
to tell.
Because my son had, my grandson, his child, is the ultimate A-bag.
Don't you love those? I do.
When he was 4, he's a very athletic, my daughter's athletic. When he was 4, I told him, I said, it's time to go to bed. It's time for bed. And he said, I'm not going to bed. I said, you're going to bed. He walked into his room, he packed his suitcase, and walked back, says, I'm leaving. And I said, oh, yeah, like, I think I have control of this. I said, let's go. We get in the car, we drive 2 blocks down the street. It's dark. He says, let me off here. Oh.
He called you bluff. Wow.
I'm never gonna live with this kid. Oh, yeah. And his son is exactly the same way, except, and they look like twins. I mean, my son at 2, my grandson at 2, and it is like scary. It is scary. My grandson's more athletic than my son. And he was riding a 2-wheel bike at 2.
Wow.
And he's riding motorcycles, he's 4. He's riding dirt bikes at 4. I just told my son, I said, Lord, I don't want anything bad to happen to my grandson, but there's something better sounds God.
It's painful, crazy.
I wanted to go through. Okay, so, but if you want to hear the good stories, Sam was the person. And then there's Kay, my right-hand person. I could not survive without Kay. He is.
You
she's
could.
amazing. No.
Yeah, she could. I'm Kay Courtney. I met Cathy, I don't know what year it was. I know it was before 2019, because that's when I started coming to her precept classes. I've been coming since the beginning of 2019. I think Jude was the first one that I came to. And, but I met her through her sister, Nancy, and Judy Gross, because I used to go to church with them. Yeah, I just love coming to the precept classes because you just get so much more depth in your study than you do just doing it on your own, or even in a lot of other Bible studies that I've been to. I'm married. I have a blended family with 5 children and 13 grandchildren. The youngest one is a year old. The oldest one is like, I think he's 33.
Wow.
And we have like 3 grandchildren getting married within the next 12 months.
Wow.
3 weddings.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. And her one couple, they moved to Germany.
Oh, yes, my youngest daughter, her and her husband are he's in the Air Force, and October 1st, they're shipping out to Germany. So,
Kay will be going to Germany.
yeah, I'll be going to Germany sometime.
Tour, he's gonna do a tour over there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be
Oh,
over there
wow.
for 4 years. So sometime in the next 4 years, we'll be going over there. And because they weren't able to afford to send their dogs over, we inherited the dogs. So I now have a 13-year-old miniature schnauzer and an 11-year-old Chihuahua Jack Russell mix at home with me. And I haven't had dogs at my house for a couple of years now, but I've always had big dogs before, and now I have these little dogs, and they follow me everywhere I go. I mean, I go to the bathroom, they follow me. But they're real sweet. I love them. I've enjoyed the last couple of weeks having them.
Okay, Eva, you're next.
Well, I'm a beauty newbie.
Yes.
I met Cathy through her salon, and she was recommended by a friend. And this is like we almost had conversations, real good conversations.
About the Bible, and all this ends up being there, yeah.
And I've been looking for a Bible study. They had kind of found one, but like I said, I'm level 0.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's okay, it's my first two.
So,
Everybody has to start somewhere.
That's right.
And no matter what, show up.
exactly.
Even if you haven't done anything in that book, you show up because you will learn so much just from listening to her. God speaks through her. She's just a mouth and he talks through her. That's all
A
you are in her
mouthpiece.
mouth.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
God's word comes through you unbelievably.
It does.
And like you said, it's not you, it's him.
Yes, yeah,
And that day you have no question about it being.
that's good. That's good to know. So, I don't want
She has an interesting one.
I was interesting.
Yes, you do that.
Okay. Nina?
Okay, I guess about 15 years ago, I felt like the Lord was calling me into deeper study, and I was familiar with K. Arthur and recent Bible studies. But we lived in far west Texas where that wasn't even feasible.
Shocking.
So, in 15, we retired and moved to San Angelo, and, lo and behold, I got a card in the mail for a precept workshop in Dallas.
Wow.
And so I thought, well, I feel like the Lord put this in my mailbox. So I went to Dallas, the workshop, and, went through the whole thing. And the guy said, this is great to come to one of these, but you can't do this on your own. You have to find a class. So while I was sitting there in Dallas, I was Googling, and I found a class in San Angelo. And so as soon as I got home, I went, and they were in the middle of Philippians, I think. So I attended that class for 3 years, and then we moved here in December of 19. And one of the first things I did is I got on the internet, and I found Cathy, and I think I did the class since early 2000. I'm married. I have 2 kids, 5 grandsons, and 2 step granddaughters.
That's awesome.
Yay.
Yes.
And we just found out we're neighbors.
They're neighbors.
Oh, we both live in Kissing Tree.
So you guys can, you have a resource,
Yeah.
because she's a very good study.
Yeah.
She can help you. Okay,
I'm Charlene. I got with Kay, brought me into it, and it was you, the first one. And, been coming there since. And yes, God's news. I mean, that's just what I have to say. It's just wonderful.
well, that's something.
So Kathy, I just want to interject that, like if you need anything from Kathy, I guess I'm really the person to contact.
Yes,
Because I send out emails, I send out text messages,
you'll send out the lessons.
I send out the lessons, I post things on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel where you can watch, because we're recording it right now on Zoom. And we also have a Facebook page where you can go, and you can even go back and see previous classes and stuff. So if I don't have your email address, I think most everybody, I think I have any of your contact. So if you want to give me your contact information, phone, email, phone number, then,
Thought I forwarded it to you.
I thought you did too, but I don't see her on. Oh, Eva, what's your last name?
Yes.
Muniz.
MUNIC.
I thought you did too. Maybe I just didn't do it. But anyway, yeah,
Oh,
she's the mouthpiece, and I don't know. I guess I'm
The leg.
the other end.
They're the legs.
The leg.
They're the legs, and the arms,
well.
and we're the body.
Move on.
Here you go.
Good.
This is also my husband, like I said before, his favorite Bible studies ever done. So he was excited when he found out that I was going to teach again, so. I'm gonna say for you new people, there is a lot of reading in this. I don't know if the in and out has as much as the reset one does, but there is a lot of reading. And so, My
It's 10
advice
pages.
is when you get to lessons like lesson one, from the lesson one, it has, you just do this. Just do the worksheet. Those that are not used to it, get the worksheet done first. And then, the most important thing is to know what is being said in the scripture, and then everything else will just fall right into place. And, you'll be surprised at how easily it does that. But the biggest thing is to read that. If you get overwhelmed with the intense amount of background information, there is a lot of information about covenants and about historically how covenants work. Trying to find, so if you get to that and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is too much, skip it. Skip it and just go to work. Don't sit there and get yourself bogged down with trying to understand some of the text, because some of it is complicated. So I'm trying to think of maybe less, 5 or 6, but it's just a long-winded amount of information, and you're just like, oh my goodness, how much can we see? So we'll have just some sections where it's a couple of pages of just one document after another, after another, after another. So just the most important thing is to read the scripture, read what the biblical parts of it first. And then if you have time to go back and read the other additional information about play Trumbull and the guy who went to Africa and the African villages and all the stuff that he talks about. You want to read all that later, no problem. But the most important thing is to cover the scripture and the text, the biblical text that you're going to be talking. That's the most important.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. My worksheet says lesson 10. Is there supposed to be a worksheet in every chapter? For every lesson?
There is a scripture.
Yeah. You have the internet, you have the easy one, right?
Yes, and I do.
Yeah, so I know the easy one is a little bit different than the hard one. So you're are you looking in the oh, I see what you're saying. So you see like Hebrews on page 51?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is gonna be, part of the homework that you read in lesson 10. So it's connecting that scripture, to lesson 10, which is
So-
right at the end of lesson 10.
So there isn't a worksheet for every lesson.
There isn't one for every lesson, but when you come across it, the way they've done it, which I like that, I wish they did in the big book that. But you see what I'm talking about is at the back, it has all of this documents about,
What page is that?
The appendix.
yeah,
Yeah.
the addenda, there's all kinds of additional information in there.
63.
Read it if you want to. In some ways, we're gonna cover that anyway, by doing the actual lesson, so. Anything that anyone wants to ask me? Any questions for me?
Monday at 10.
Yes.
Not 10:30.
Monday at 10. I like to walk out of here by 11:30, if possible, 1:45 at the latest, because I have to go here to quickly. And on Mondays, I am the chaplain at the prison. In that office as the chaplain. I'm sorry. It's good for me to get there on Monday as soon as I'm able to.
Is that a new routine?
No, it's just I've never really said that that's what I do, but yes, I am the person as the chairperson, I'm in that position. Tuesdays, I just go back to the assistant, the CDC there, where my dad is, which is fine. Lot of changes going on in the prison. It has been very challenging. I've had some very difficult weeks there. And, I didn't even go in last week. I just had to, just said, I'm not coming in. I just need to know. Because it's been so stressful. And so, I don't know how it's gonna go with the changes. I don't know what's gonna happen, but. You know, well, I'm giving it to the end of the year. Then at the end of the year, I'm gonna evaluate and say, okay, what am I really doing? What is it that you guys really do? So, I've talked to the chaplain a few times about it. You know, of course, she's like, oh, we don't lose you and all that, but that prison has the lowest recidivism rate in the state. It's fewer people don't go back to prison that get out of it than any other prison in the state. It's got 120 prisons. I think we're about 140,000 inmates, and there's 1,000 inmates at that prison. So that is a very good statistic. They also have the lowest amount of incidents. So the fewest fights, the fewest problems, things like that, the fewest suicide attempts, all those kind of statistics. So with TDCJ coming in, they want to be a program prison, but they are an incarceration. They are all about incarceration, not rehabilitation. So it's a very hard thing for the guards to understand how things are different there. I have a meeting every Friday at 7 a.m. Sometimes this last Friday was 2 hours, 2 hours with the prison. And usually it's an hour to an hour and a half, but it was a 2 hour Friday. One of the things that happened was a volunteer hugged an inmate in front of a guard, and that created a crisis. So, you know, they don't want you touching them. You know, that is very TDCJ by the law. And so you can't do that kind of stuff. So we're having to work with re-educating people what they can and cannot do. There's all kinds of things that I was doing before that I don't allow me to do anymore. So, as I said to the chaplain, I said, I'm happy to be here to help you. I will fill in for you. I could be the chaplain. I've done that for a long time. Been there since 2003. And so, you know, I do know how to do all those things, but I said, what is the value of being here? Because I don't want to just be sitting in the office kind of like plotting. You know,
Whittling.
you have assistants stuff. You know, so it is going to be a pretty big change as far as if I do leave there. Well, that's okay. I mean, there's going to be other things that you do. I can always find something. But it is going to be a difficult transition. And then at the end of the year, I'm transitioning to my house. I'm going to no longer be at this on the 31st of December at the house. So we are in December, we are transitioning. There's a lot of reasons why I'm doing that. The main reason is that I'm 68 years old. I've been doing mail since 1987. I want to do the people that want to come to me, but I just don't want to have to deal with all the drama, politics, all that. So that's going to happen at the end of the year. So, of course, all this stuff going off the church is very stressful. So I have a lot of stressful things going on in my life right now. I have some other personal things happening that are very stressful. So I just need to just concentrating on what I'm doing, what's in front of me, until the next step. Then the next step. That's just one by this time.
One at a time.
One by at a time. But I think Dublin has come to me at a really good time because I have learned so many things. Because the more you study it, there's more things that I see that's like, wow, I just did not even catch that the last time. Yeah, like Revelation, that's why. You're not following the messages.
BSF just did that.
So this is a 2-year course.
Theirs was, yeah, there was, I guess it's in here.
Yeah, it's just a 2-year course. It's like this big. Cross-referencing like it was so rich. It was so good. Part 1, I would teach part 1. Part 1 is just a message to the scriptures. Then you get 2 and 3 and 4, and then you just go down the track. Do you want to teach Job after this? I'm going to teach Job. So I have my Job workbook, and I'm start looking at that.
It's funny because we had just had this conversation when we finished our last study in our Sunday school class. What we'd say next, and one of the things that Jeff was doing. Said we're doing Kings.
Oh, I try not to, I was not to hold stuff back.
I am. We spent a year in Kings and Prophets, so.
Yeah.
This fantastic. That's one of my top things.
Yes.
Number 1 is covenants, Hebrews, Daniel, I love Daniel, love Isaiah, and Kings and Prophets, I think. And then I think after Job, I'm going to do New Testament, I don't know, Galatians. Something.
Wait, for that one?
I don't think you can, if you have taught Galatians, Philippians, or what,
I've never done Philippians, but then.
James, I got James, James, woo, James is 16 weeks, I think, for James. That's a long one, but, lots and lots of convictions.
So that's follow what is.
It's all over. James, is my life versus James. James 1, verses 2, 3, 4. Both that's my life verse. I love James. James is really good, but I have to study it for 6 months before I can teach. Because it's like King's. Okay, so those that don't know about me, there's people that don't know about me and my life. So I just say that I was not raised in the church. I had a psycho mom and dad that had just like, was it the War of the Roses kind of marriage, They had a very difficult marriage. They really stayed married too long. And we were sad. I mean, we were born, and that was a good thing. But my grandmother, before she died, told my dad's mom, she said, and when your brother was born, the first one, she said, I knew them. They were not going to make it. So, my mother was a professional psychic. She was very involved in New Age stuff. She totally adhered to that. Spent many days, many months and years with people in my house. I think the funniest group was the rescue group. We all sat around and looked at each other. Trying to read each other's minds, and my sister and I would come from school and look at each other. So they were, then she went to the black glove thing, where they would put love on the left hand, and then something where they put love on the right hand, and that meant something. God protected me from that. My sister got very involved in that stuff. She read cards and did tarot and did all that stuff. Because, mom was trying to influence us to do that. I'll never forget, I had a fight with my mom in the early 90s. She called me home. And she was mad because I had to stop allowing my children to go to the house. Because every time they went, they came home with a crystal, they came home with a thing. She's teaching them how to use crystal power and doing all this stuff. And I would call and say, Mom, you got to raise me the way you want to. I get to raise my kids the way I want to, and they're not going to like that. And of course, that became our mantra. Your children will I was going to do with it, so then I completely cut them off and ever went to the house. And so she would call me and fight me about it. She was, I think, mentally ill. She was alcoholic and drug addict, and very violent, very cruel. And so, have I told you all the testimony? No?
Bits and pieces.
Okay, well, so, I think the first time she stabbed my dad, when I was 12, she stabbed him sometimes. And, she was upset with him. And, and, it was one of the few times I'd ever seen my dad drunk. And my mom did all the drinking, my dad did not. Because he actually came from a nice family. And let me just stop right here and say, I truly believe my dad married my mom because he was rebelling against his parents. He did not want to go the route that his parents wanted to go. Came from a very upper middle class family. He's an only child, you know, with everything. He was very well off kid, and he met my mom, who had a 7th grade education, maybe could write, read a little bit. She came from poverty, it was terrible. She was very beautiful. She really looked 20 years younger than she was, all the time. Very, very, very good. And so, then I married her. And I think he did pretty quickly that it was a mistake. And, but his parents, being godly people, said, marry her, that's your wife, figure it out, make it work. It's like he was there to get divorced. And we were all sad, we begged them many times to stay siblings. So anyway, she was very abusive. She was, I said, I was supposed to stab her 5 times. He knocked her down the stairs, broke her arm. And then he had gone and grabbed her, and then they said, get ready for school, and they drove off. So, yes, it was like that.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay, it's all good. And don't worry. Yes, it's okay. And so we got dressed and went to school. And, the second time she stabbed him, I was 15. And, she almost stabbed my sister. Oh, Nancy doesn't really remember it. But she had stabbed him in the shoulder because she was coming down on him. I was laying on the sofa asleep and woke up in time. She got it. And so he was jumping off the balcony. I tell you, I think about what I'm saying. It's not crazy. He's jumping off the balcony. She ran to the kitchen, gave him a knife to finish him off and walk downstairs. And so, my sister ran up to him and grabbed her by the shoulders. She stuck the knife up to her throat, and I just pulled her back. She went downstairs. We were on first name basis with the phone company. Every time they had a fight, she had to pull the phone out of the wall. So it was always going to certain call. So it was like the phone man would come in and he'd be like, "Here, I can get it right here," that kind of stuff. So, anyway, so she was a very tragic personality. The whole family was crazy. They were and I can remember when I was 5, I'd be on her mother's back porch. So her mother was reading tea leaves with little black ladies and stuff like that. It was just a very common thing in the family. And so she then at 15, after this thing, she kicked me out. Something was probably 3 months. And then she let me come back home. And again, at 17, I moved up. I had to get out. And so went to school, graduated from high school because I knew I had to have education. Knew that I could not let myself go down that same path as my mom. And so I met my husband when I was 18. I had a roommate that helped me. She was 18, I was 17, we lived together for a year. Then she was going to pay. I said, really? I mean, no, I can't afford this place by myself. And so I was kind of dating Lance a little bit. And so he said, well, move in with me. So really, he said, he was so shocked when I showed up. I bag with 2 pair of shoes, a couple pair of underwear, I think there's 2 pants. Because I showed up, I'm gonna still. You know, we decided to go, we ended up getting married, and, the last time my mom, for my wedding, we paid for the wedding ourselves, husband. And, we got rid of St. Charles Avenue, a nice little house, we could actually afford, I think we spent $2,000. I went to Jason. And, anyway, my mom showed up when, probably now it's fine, but at the time I was like, please don't show up, please don't show up. And, my dad was dating, my mom was dating a guy who was like in his 20s. And, they showed up at the wedding, and she was supposed to bring me something bomb and something good. Well, on the way, she'd stopped at a restaurant, had a margarita, so she brought me the margarita, you know, thing, you know, drink. You know, the margarita.
Oh, my God.
To me for my brother,
Mhm.
and, it's like, thanks. It was funny. I mean, now I love that. But after that, the last time that she hit me was, and, you know, he knew that she was crazy. He had to get her out of bars a lot, you know, they had my phone number, I asked them, bars in New Orleans. They would call our house. Your mom, this is the best thing make you. Did you get stuff?
Oh, my
there?"
gosh.
Let's go get, my husband would be there, there's stuff like that. And so, anyway, we were, at her house. She was dating this guy, it's like, my sister did like, I felt very, you know, I'm an adult, I'm married, 20 years old, and I know what I'm doing. And I said, she said something to me, and I kind of popped up at her, and she hit me so hard, she got the attention. Started everybody, I'm so embarrassed, but they outside, hidden this outside. I was like, I didn't know what to do. Why did not come out right away? She was raised and told me that sick my mother, and she actually came out, tried to apologize to me, I was like, wow. So, then I had Aaron, I got pregnant, everybody was 21, and, Aaron, who's born, a little late, but the cold was up, and she was 5 days late. And, I was devastated, I mean, I didn't have, my mother showed up, the one time she ever came to the hospital, was that time. And so, birth records are called, scared to go there and see it. And my mom was sitting there and she said, "What are you bothering me to go? Just sit back and do it." And I said, "Well, Mom, I cannot bury a child in front of her. I don't know about you, but to me, that's Aaron, that's my child, that's." And so she never came to 3 months. I was depressed, really struggling. That year, 1979, my friend Beth, my roommate, had got married, became a Christian 6 months after she got married. And she was talking to me about God, and you know, I think she was pretty good. Well, oh yeah, that's fucking right. And she came to my house that July and gave me a strong concordance for a gift. It's like,
That's a strange, gift to have someone else have that.
I was like, wow. I said,
What am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah, really.
thanks.
What is this?
I put it back in the box, I said, look at that. It's like, I was very nice of her, and I was big work is great.
Yes, it does.
And so,
Very expensive.
yeah, so anyway, Aaron died, and I spent a lot of time calling with him, crying on the phone to her. I was so devastated. And didn't know what to do, and saying like, "Why is God doing this to me? You know, I've had a cranky life, I've had a broken mom, so what this happened?" And then I got a little with Mary, and Mary was about 6 weeks early, but super thrilled that I'm married. And I started having health problems, and my OBGYN said we thought because of malnutrition when I was a kid. Because there were periods of time when there was a lot of malnutrition going on in the family. And so present health, I never had an easy pregnancy ever. And so I, got adopted with Mary and, such people like baby. And then I got pregnant again with Nathan and, started having problems in the pregnancy, having my blood pressure, this kind of stuff. Spent the last month in the hospital before he was born. And he was born 4 weeks early, had himself. My doctor had said, you know, I really want to do a G1 because I don't never want you to be pregnant again, but we'll just do it later. We've got a lot going on right now. And so, I had a baby. He was 5 days old and we were, you know, having my room with me, breastfeeding him, doing all this stuff, and we're pregnant to leave, and they didn't bring the baby. I called the nurse, and like, hey, we've been waiting like 2 hours, what's going on? And literally, as I hung up the phone, the doctor came running, looked at me and said, Cathy, don't know what's happened. Your son's had a seizure, and you don't need it. And I was like, I just had it that moment. I just rested. I just sent back to the movie. What is going on? And so I literally got down on these and prayed. I stopped, please, 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 and I was so shocked. I just couldn't understand. But, you know, we went to the ICU, some my support, and I realized he is going to die. I mean, it was, even today, it was a very difficult thing to deal with. What happened was that he got cross-contaminated by those cross-contaminated stuff. He got a referral infection. And he was 10 years old, took enough last. So I was angry at God. I was pretty angry. And I told my husband, I said, I'm having another child because God's out the question. He proved I can do it.
Were you a Christian? Or
No,
not yet.
oh no. Oh, no.
Okay.
And,
Well, you prayed to God, and
I prayed because that's what you do.
okay.
You know, a lot of people do that. It doesn't even believe God.
Okay.
So I told my husband I'm going to get pregnant with him, and he said, "I'm not having any kids." He said, "No way, you're not having children." And I said, "I'm not having a baby. I'm going to prove that I can have a baby. It's like a mission." I realized that's something in my personality. Anyway, I got pregnant. He was so angry. And right after that, I started having problems. I spent 5 months pretty much in and out of bed, hospital, problem. He was born 11 weeks early. And that being that was pretty early. But while we were in the ICU, and that Cindy LeBlanc, her baby was right next to mine. She was Christian. So Cindy and I exchanged phone numbers because after a month we both get our son at the same week. And we made the commitment to call each other because I had to know how to put it two things in memories and do all kinds of stuff. And so I saw, I don't know what it was. I saw a picture of myself when he was about 6 weeks old. I didn't even know what it was. He did not recognize because it had been very difficult pregnancy, lots of problems, lots of things going on. Anyway, I was pretty fanatically in that. And I called Cindy up at 2 o'clock in the morning, like, why are we there? She's like, I know, Cathy, it's 2 a.m. That's kind of thing. And so anyway, one day, it's a Sunday, my husband was still going off show. And I was standing in the kitchen and I thought, I started having chest pains. So I told my husband, I said, I need to go to the hospital. You're not bringing the baby. I'm going to drive myself. And so we went to the baby. I drove myself to the hospital, walked in there, and was sitting on the outside and having a heart attack. Took him to the back. And he said, you're not having a heart attack because I think you got an ulcer. Probably have a pretty good ulcer. It's like, oh, okay. So that Monday, he said, I'm calling one of my friends because back then, we were in lockdown. He said, I'm going to call my friend who is an internist and I'm going to get you an appointment tomorrow morning. All right, so we did. The next morning, I gave a friend to take me because I had my daughter and my premature baby. And we go to see this internist and he looks at me and says, you know, do you know that you're yellow? I'm like, oh, no. No, you look like them. So they had just come out with ultrasound. And so basically, you did the ultrasound and said, okay, this is what's going on. You've got 13 stones and college, you're about to have a shutdown. You're about to be subject, and you're going to be dead by that. And I said, oh.
Okay.
And he said, you need to go across the street to him right now. I said, excuse me. Yeah. I had a premature baby. My husband was like, sure. He said, the child is going to take care of the kids. Don't do it all Friday. He says, no.
Be dead by Friday.
You're going to be dead. He said, I'm not, you are really sick. So I had to turn this premature baby over to my friend at my 3-year-old and go to the house and show her where everything was, all the medications, all the things had to be done. And then I drove myself to the hospital and called my husband's work and said, just tell my husband I'm going to the hospital for some emergency surgery, just so he knows. Drove myself in there, checked myself in. Had surgery, that's the next morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, as soon as I could get there, my breast pumping and everything. Put a drink down in my side for 8 days. He said, we were so close to dying. Said it. So after 8 days, I mean, I had everything's out of my control. I can't do anything, everything's going on in the child, I don't know what's happening. And so I come home and have tapes, you know, I'm trying to take care of this baby. And so the next week, I had to take him back to the neonatologist because it's just time to check up. I go to the neonatologist and the doctor's looking at my son. He said, I know that you're having kind of a hard time. He said, but we need to put your son in. And I'm like, why? He said, well, it's hard raised too slow. Stop breathing several times since he's been good. And you need to get him to a cardiologist. Of course. I drive to the hospital, turn my daughter over to my friend, and walk in there with the baby. And then, like I said, it's still taped up, and I'm going in there, still have the hospitals. And so I go in there and they check the baby in, and I didn't even have a chair yet. I just stood down the wall, and I got the phone from the room. I called Cindy, and Cindy came out to see me. She got me a little baby bottle full of scotch. Like, what have I done wrong in my life? What's wrong? And she said, I think God's trying to get your attention. I'm like, really? Well, he's got it now. I'm pretty mad. So he had to go on a heart monitor. My daughter loved the heart monitor because she had figured out how to unplug it in the restaurant. And it's like, you know, siren and
Real song.
everybody jumps up. And that was got great service.
They couldn't get you up fast.
It was a byproduct of, you know, the big blinking thing on his chest.
Yeah.
You know, that was very efficient for a kid. We'd stand there in line, and people would just move out of the way. Anyway, so he had to go on some medication. And Cindy said, when you get to feeling better, you know, she said, well, you gotta get your staples out and you've got to make sure you understand what to do with your son. She said, well, I think you need to start thinking about going to church. I kind of hate that. I don't think she's doing it. I told her, I said, why do I want to go be involved with somebody that allows me to do things? I have a crappy child. I've lost 2 children from 5 years. I said, I have 2 other children. We have hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical bills because back then they didn't have insurance like they do now. And I'm 26 years old with $150,000 or $200,000 in medical bills and have buried 2 children. And I said, I feel like, you know, that's a waste of my time. And she said, well, I just think you should do this. So it's about 6 weeks. she called me up, she said, have this lady, you come see this lady, she's great. And, so I said, are you ready for me? Because I had this baby with a monitor and all this stuff and we have things on it and, I mean, I'm not sure if you guys can help. She said, we can. So I go and turn the baby over to the nursery and, thinking, no, that's not smart. And go there, the lady talked, I can't tell you the name, I don't even know what she talked about. But and she said, anybody that needs prayer, and I thought, praise prayer. So I walked down there and she said, do you know who Jesus is? I said, Easter and Christmas. Said, no, that's not what I mean. I said, well, that's who Jesus is, Easter and Christmas. She said, well, she said her spirit too.
A little more.
So anyway, she kept talking to me and kind of explaining things to me, and I just knew that in me, I needed something. I didn't really want it to be that, because I felt like that was a weakness. I felt, why do I want to submit myself to somebody I can't even see? He has done nothing for me. Why would I want to do it? And so, anyway, she said, well, I think that we want to accept Jesus. You want to? And I said, I think so. She said, well, let's pray. So we start praying. She's praying over me. It was a charismatic church, and that was freaky by itself. And that's a part of charismatic church. Don't misunderstand. It's just that I have really been in church, and now I'm in a church that was last year that I had seen before, and didn't know that it would happen in the church. And so anyway, I got some. And I mean, I was a brother baby, crying on the floor. I mean, it was just drama. And so I came home and I didn't know what to think about it. I knew that I changed, but I didn't really know what to do about it. And I didn't want to tell my ex because I figured he would think I was crazy. And so a few weeks go by, a month goes by. He came up to me one day and said, what is wrong with you? I said, what do you mean? He said, like, what is wrong? I said, well, what do you do? He said, you're happy. So I told her, I said, well, I went to this church meeting from the awesome, and I accepted Jesus as my Savior. And she said, okay, let's go to Catholic Church. His name was Catholic Church. I just wasn't raised that way, and was, and I just didn't understand it, and it was so different from the other church. I was like, I don't know how to adjust. I said, I just want to go to the church like I said, that's where it isn't where we stay, but the ones, they all knew me, they knew about me, stuff like that. So I called my friend Beth way back, 1979, and I said, Beth, I got saved. She said, Pastor Cathy, you need to be in Bible study. I said, okay. She said, I'm going to find you. So she called me back. There's a precept study in the channel. Oh. So I said, okay, I'll go. So I go to this precept study, know nothing about the Bible, nothing about the Bible. And they're doing First Peter. That's what I should teach, First Peter. So it's being known for the foundation work. That's what First Peter is about. And so I'm in that Bible study in the second week. I had a strong voice. I have one of those under my bed. And so I got it. And I opened it up, and on the inside cover sheet of paper, and I was just like, wow. And that's when I realized that God had that's how stubborn I was. I had to go through what I went through because I was not going to give up. And so I started studying, and then that group, I was with that group, and they invited me. They said, "We think that you have a teaching gift." I'm like, really? What does that mean? And so they have it in their leadership, but it's a really big hand, like 150 people at this study. And so they set me a precept ministries that time at the home office back there in 1930. And I started teaching them. So we probably use something, those preset box. And so I never have studied any other one, that's good there, but that is how I got saved, and that's what.
He was after you in touch.
Yeah, my mother and I had lots of conversations with her. And one of the great things is that, you can really know the word, but knowing the word or the word in scripture, that's, doesn't convince. That works, that's good among us as believers, but that's not good among the people who are not, because they're looking at you like, okay, what is that? They don't know. And so, like I didn't know. But what I began to realize with my mom is that she would actually use parts of the Bible in her psychic stuff in the Old Testament. And so, because I have enough understanding of the word, I could take her verses and explain to her why she was teaching it. And I finally had to tell her, I'll never forget this. She called me up and was yelling at me, your children will believe, they will believe. I said, that's why we never went to it. Because if they want to believe in it, they're going to be trying. And they made good choice. But as long as they're in the house, if you're speaking the Bible, that's it. And so I told her, I said, Mom, I said, I just want you to know I love you. I said, I have forgiven you for all the things that you've done to me. I don't love you like a normal daughter and mother love, because I love you with Christ. So because I can't fake that kind of love, because there was nothing about her that was redeemed to me like this. I can't pretend like, oh, it was just this fabulous story. It was not a fabulous relationship. But I was always very respectful to her. I was very straight with her. And I finally told her, I said, I'm just telling you right now, I'm going to. So you are going to learn because you are determined to follow your way. Do not understand. And so she said, well, you got your mother. And I said, that's fine. I wouldn't tell that to a stranger. I don't know she could. I would like to see her in heaven. But it's not going to happen today, the way it's played. So when she died, before she died, her husband didn't tell me she was on it. I showed up there, I prayed for her, and I talked to her. I have no idea what she said. But he asked me to speak and continue. I was like, are you sure? What? Speak it. I'll do it. I'll be happy to do it. So, God gave me a message. I played a Christian song, Body was on and then I talked a message and about, how we're like wonderful and ladies to the time. I mean, I was careful not to promote anything that she did, but she had like the fairy people in the back, or the wacky new age people, or whatever. They would do all kinds of crazy stuff about it. And I just was like, this is what the Lord said, this is what's in the Word of God, yeah. And they all kind of looked at me because nobody that came to that funeral was a Christian. They didn't know anything about that stuff. And so this one guy walked up to me afterwards. He said, you are very sincere. He said, I could tell that you really thought about what you want to say. He said, I should help you. I have children can find positive things. So I was actually able to say some things that positive. She was doing. That's a positive. She was using. It was a positive. It was a lot of it. She didn't. But I recognized that was the opportunity for complete restoration. To be able to deal with her, things that she did, all of the things that were happening to her, and have the things. So that's a story. Anyway, so we have got the Philippines actually stay at the home that I talked about. So guess what happens next week?
Bless you.
That's good. When I opened up my study, and I told Deborah, I said, I opened it up and I started in and I said, I paused and I said, hello, old man. Daryl was sitting over here on the inside room. He said, what? But it was a comfort to come back.
Yeah, it's a great study and for the people that have never studied this way, it is the best study to start with, because once you understand covenant, every other book in the Bible fits. It's like a puzzle that puts everything together. You understand why the law, why grace, why this thing. It was great. So let's pray. I'm glad we got to do a little story. And if you need anything, Dave, the one to talk to, because that will help us. She's the communication person, so if you need her phone number, and we'll get, they can get it. Everybody will get, at the end of each lesson, I will give you, like, lesson 1 is 4 pages, it's just overview. We send you that, you'll get that email to you at the end of the email. So, Father, just thank you so much for this group of ladies. I pray for those who are not here that want to be here. I ask you, Lord, to make the word alive and clear. And Father, I just pray that you would not let anyone that's in here get overwhelmed, but instead we would find joy in whatever you are showing them. Father, yes, we want to do the Lord, but I want more for these women than completing a job. I really pray for these ladies that are here, that you would reveal yourself, whatever way that you choose in their lives and vision. They will have an understanding that is so powerful, so clarifying, and will give them part of hope in you. You will show who you are. I praise you, Father, and I thank you, Jesus.
Amen.
Right.